scores for 5 on the floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Uh-oh. Yeah. It's Mercy. Music by Mercy again. Heat Nation, we the culture. Yo, E, I need you to call timeout. Need Brady to set the floor plan. Tropical blanket, open for the shot. Yo, Greg, set the pick. Still 5 on the floor, still ride for my dog. Still battle on the court, still survive in the war. Keep your eye on the ball, or get burned from the keep this mic off the wall without turning the cheek. From night to day, no sleeping paths or allowed to morning. The nut is sleeping us, never catch us snoring. Live from Miami, report in the heat with 5 Reasons Sports from the courts to the streets. Yeah, Wake County, Heat Nation, we say it proudly.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Alex Toledo, Brady Hawk, and others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Also, make sure to subscribe to Off the Floor for the most heat anywhere.
Welcome into 5 on the Floor. Here's today's floor plan. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick on 5 Reasons Sports. I got Greg Sylvander. You can follow him at Greg Sylvander. Today was Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis Jr.'s introduction at the arena. Appreciate Brady and Alex handling that. There's a podcast up about the things that Giannis said, the takeaways from what Giannis said. So Greg and I are not going to get as much into that on this podcast, although obviously it hovers over everything. I mean, they just added a top 5 player in the league, and Pat, again, made it clear he believes he is a top 5 player in the league, and it's hard to argue with that when Giannis is healthy, as he says he is now. There were a lot of cool scenes there, him going into the locker room, seeing his locker for the first time. Brady was the one who I think correctly identified initially that was Udonis Haslem's old locker, so that's the one that he got. Not the old LeBron or old Wade lockers, but the old UD locker. I talked about sharing the responsibilities with Bam, which is one of the things that we've talked about. And he did answer the question. I don't know who asked it, but it was the question I wanted asked, which was about playing for Spo. And although he didn't get into the efficiency, which is a topic for, I guess, another day, he did say he wants to be coached hard, that he would rather have a hard truth than sort of be told lies. And I think that's what they want too. They want to be able to coach him hard, get more out of him than other coaches have even gotten. Obviously, Doc Rivers was not going to draw a whole lot more out of him. Mike Budenholzer, and then he went to Adrian Griffin. I mean, they're not in Spo's class. So this should be the best version of Giannis. This should be the most motivated version of Giannis. And that's why we're going to pivot to LeBron. And I'm doing this, Greg, even though I said earlier in the week on an episode that I didn't want to take the Giannis thing for granted. I want to be clear on this. We're not. But there's something else that's still hanging out there. And this is what I would pose to you. Okay. LeBron was on a couple of different platforms today. He was on CNBC with Rich Kleiman, who happens to be Kevin Durant's agent. And he was also on with Tyrese Halliburton up at Fanatics Fest. And Halliburton joked about how he tried to convince him to come to Indiana. Right. And that didn't work. Although, honestly, that roster is better than some of the other rosters that LeBron is currently considering. But he's not going to play in Indiana. Okay. And then LeBron didn't say where he was going, but he was kind of playing off of the crowd, shouting out various cities. And so he did mention Miami in that context, but it wasn't like I'm coming to Miami. On the episode that he did with CNBC, he said a decision is not going to take that much longer. He's not going to keep everybody hanging that much longer. So that's kind of what has been out there today. And I'll just pose this question to you. If you're LeBron and you saw any part of Giannis's presser, you know how the Heat do things. You know how they did them for you, right? That was a show, but it also was grounded in basketball.
Yep. In business.
And business. And you know how motivated that guy that the Heat just got is right now. You also know what an adversary he has been to you during a certain portion of your career, where Giannis won 2 MVPs at times that LeBron was done winning MVPs. So again, you know what level of player this is. This is also a player who was picking the all-star teams against you for a couple of years, Team Giannis and Team LeBron. Like, this is a peer. This is someone at your level to some degree. And this guy is motivated as hell. And he's now going to be playing for an organization that maximizes superstars because they did it with you. Why would you look at that and want to go anywhere else when you take into consideration the other factors, that the Heat can offer him a little bit more money, that there's no state tax, that he likes the city, that he knows the organization, that he appreciates the coach? Why would you look at that and go any place else, again, unless it's just a play to go home and that's all it's about? And I keep coming back to this. If it was going to be that, why hasn't it happened already? Why would you look at what happened with the Heat today and not say, I want to go play with that guy? That guy's going to give me the best chance.
I can't come up with an argument to the contrary. I think that also, and part of why we wanted to do the show tonight is because of something Pat alluded to and was pretty damn open about it. But before I go further, because we did say that we weren't going to let the Giannis day go by, let's just play this because I thought this was a goosebump moment for Heat fans. It was fun to hear them cheering for Giannis. I hope the audio was loud enough. It was a fun day where they celebrated the right things. They talked about him becoming acclimated with a new area, with a new era, but also area. I thought he was really particularly vulnerable, like talking about his first conversations with Pat, also like finding his office when he was a rookie. So there's a lot of cool stuff weaved in there. But Pat said he was landing planes and that he landed one of them, but he had another one to land. And that is something I think that perks our ears up, because for him to just say that so openly, they're in the game.
He also said they're going for it now. And yeah, he has switched his analogies now. He's moved out of the sea and he's into the air, right? We're no longer going for whales and orcas. We're trying to land planes. He's an air traffic controller. That did catch people's attention. He also said flatly to Ira when Ira asked the question, we knew somebody was going to ask the question. I guess they just didn't discourage the question, which tells me something also. And he said to Ira, he says, we don't know any more than you guys do, basically. They know more than we do, but they don't know everything, because ultimately this is one man making a decision about what he feels is the best place to end his career or get close to ending his career at the very least. And again, I just keep coming back to it. Like if you're looking at the top of, like, okay, LeBron's not an opening act. Okay. If you're looking to co-headline a concert with somebody, aren't you going for the guy who's like at the top of the game right then? Like, why are you going? You're going for Steph now? Like, I love Steph. You know my feelings about Steph. He's generational. He has transformed the game. He's 38. Like, what are we doing here? Like Giannis is 31. He's turning 32.
Yeah,
there's just a lot more room.
I don't know that Bron and Steph will be greater than the sum of their parts at their age than if either of them were to go and pair themselves with a younger player who can take on more, and they can just figure out the ways that they impact the game most at their age and be the greatest versions of themselves at 38, 30, or 41, respectively. Is that
42? 42. And here's the other part of this. It was always going to be about, like, we thought there was a possibility Giannis would end up in Golden State. Like, for years, there was conversation about that because of his friendship with Steph. And again, that's what you're saying. Like, Giannis was supposed to help Steph in the latter stages of his career get over the hump. Okay. Well, Giannis can do that for LeBron. But LeBron and Steph doing it together, they just had their moment. Like, they had their moment in the Olympics, the two of them and KD. And they were the three best players on the floor when it mattered. Okay, in the gold medal game, right? That's who Kerr turned to. And I get that LeBron has a relationship with Kerr and that Vogel's there and all that. But like the Golden State thing, it's weird to me. And I've said this on Off the Floor repeatedly, and I should mention Off the Floor here. Sign up for our Discord server, $2.90 per month. It's rolling lately. We appreciate it. Everybody on there too, because that's also helped me stay in touch with things when I've been out of town. Again, $2.99. Link is right there in the description. Also, I do want to mention Prize Picks. Use the code 5 no more. Use the code HMA. That is our new code, but it's the same deal. Put down $5, get 50 to play right away. We got a World Cup final coming up on Sunday. We got Messi, Argentina. We've got Spain. Definitely get in there and play that. There's plenty of discounts on there too, so you can get those too. Again, legal in the state of Florida and many other states. Use the code HMA. That's HMA, and you'll play 5, and you'll get 50 to play right away. But look, the point I've been making on Off the Floor about the Golden State thing is, look, this was his biggest rival during the years he was not playing for the Heat, right? During the years he was playing for Cleveland, and it's akin to, and he beat them once, right? He lost to them the other times. It's akin to me, though, like to Jordan deciding at the end he was going to go play for Utah. Like, his last 2 finals were against Utah, and he won both.
Or the Knicks or the Pacers, one of those teams that
rivals.
pushed him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why would you, like, are they ever going to embrace him? Like, when they're looking back at Golden State history, is LeBron going to matter? He hardly matters in Laker history.
I was just about to say, I hate to say this because I don't want to generalize all Lakers fans, but I probably have a half a dozen friends that I grew up with that are Laker fans to this day, that were Laker fans when I was a Heat fan growing up this whole time. And I'm going to be dead ass honest. They're all happy LeBron's gone.
Right. There's no love for him there. And I said it 8 years ago when he went. Like, he wasn't come back here at that point. So this wasn't like bitterness or jealousy or anything. This was just like, why is he going to Los Angeles other than to make Space Jam? Right? Like, because like he goes to LA, it's always going to be Magic's town or Kobe's town, depending on the generation you're in. And then there's Kareem, and there's Worthy, and there's Elgin, and there's, and Jerry. Okay. And it's endless. And LeBron was basically, look, he raised them for the dead. People forget now the state that the Lakers were in when he got there. That was an under 500 team. He did what he was supposed to do. He won a championship there. It was not a Mickey Mouse title, no matter what people say. Okay, yes, I think that he could have won that series, but actually getting to the finals in the bubble was no easy feat. He did it.
No.
They won.
Fans are just more disconnected from it.
Right, they're disconnected from it, and he didn't win a championship for the Lakers on their floor. Okay,
correct.
And so as a result of that, and again, that Kobe passed. Okay, during this period of time. And additionally, Magic was still there when LeBron was there and made some mistakes in the front office. They've had the ownership change. It's been a weird time for them. And then they traded for Luka because they were gifted Luka, and then Luka was put ahead of him. He's not going to be remembered as a Laker. Like, there's no statue coming for him there. There's nothing. There's only 2 places he has a chance to be remembered. And it's not going to be the place he goes to next if it's not one of those 2 places. It's not going to be Golden State. They don't give a bleep about him in Philly except to boo him. First 3-game losing streak, okay, they're going to start complaining about him, that he's taking the ball out of Maxi's hands. And then he's got to deal with the Embiid situation. There are only 2 places that make any sense from a legacy standpoint, from a closing his career standpoint, and there's only one of them that makes sense from a basketball standpoint, because let's pivot it over to Cleveland now. Okay, we take Steph out of it. Look, Steph is generational. Donovan Mitchell is not generational. Okay? Nope. He's not even a guy who steps up big in the playoffs. He hasn't done it since the bubble. So
he hasn't proven it. You're right. That's Cleveland's flaw. They got a coach also that talks about winning analytically. Right. So, like, that doesn't sound like LeBron to me in terms of, like, the way he thinks about the game. I find that, and most great players are more aligned with a Spoelstra. Like, sometimes you got to ignore the analytics, even though I know that they use them greatly.
They use them, but he has ignored them. And the when the key time he ignored them was, and I talked to him about this after it happened, was when LeBron and Wade had terrible numbers together towards the end of the Big 3 era. And I remember Haberstroh and others writing a lot of columns about that, about how LeBron was better with Dwayne off the floor. And I asked Spo about it once on the side, and he got indignant about it. Going I'm not taking, Spo's language is different on the side than it is in press conferences, but it was basically like, you're a bleeping idiot if you think I'm going to not have Dwayne Wade on the floor with LeBron. Okay. Okay. Even though, again, analytically, the best lineups in Miami, During that time, no disrespect to Dwayne, who was brilliant in the first year of the Big Three and then started to break down a little bit in the second year. But like the best lineups were LeBron and 4 shooters. Like that, LeBron and Bosh and 3 other shooters. And Bosh was a shooter at that point. Like that was when they were
trusting Kenny Atkinson. I don't see it.
It makes no sense. I keep coming back to this, okay? And look, the key's been left under the mat, and now the key opens the penthouse floor. All right. Giannis is up there. All right. Donovan Mitchell's not up there. He's on like the 17th floor of like a 30-floor building. Okay. He's not up there. Curry was up there, but the elevator's going down. Like and then the coaching. I mean, again, okay, Steve has his detractors. I get it. But again, he's won championships. Okay. He doesn't play young players. He doesn't develop young players. Not a good place for Bronny to eventually go, but he has been an elite coach, regardless of how much Golden State fans seem to dislike him, because they do. If you're on their Twitter, they were hoping Kerr would retire. Heat fans, there are some, we know them, right? But for the most part, they'll go with Spo, but if anybody else goes at Spo, they start defending Spo. Okay, that's sort of how this. It's like I can talk about someone in my family, but you can't. Like that's how they are about Spo, right? But I'll come back to this, and I'll leave it to you on the other side of this, right? And this is why I think that there is a certain amount of confidence that was projected about this today, about landing the plane, and why I'm not going to say it's Miami. I'm not going to take Miami over the field, but I kind of feel like there are some people in that building who would. And I'll come back to this, and I'll ask you this question, okay? Has there been anybody with a higher basketball IQ than LeBron James during this era of basketball?
Hell no.
Okay, so I'm going to get to why on the other side. I think the Heat might get good news soon. Okay, but we'll talk about it. Again, not taking it against the field, but to me, that's the only question to ask, because I think that ultimately is what's going to guide his decision. That's just a hunch, not an aggregation. Anyway, here's a hunch. You're not getting your nutrition right. And this is not about Greg. This has nothing to do with Greg. It has nothing to do with Alex. It has nothing to do with Brady. Brady's sitting in the front row. I got displaced today. I wasn't there today. And all of a sudden, Brady's in the front row because you know why? You know why? Because they know that he's using AG1 right now. 1 scoop plus 8 ounces of water. That's all you need to keep yourself going, particularly if you're on the road like I am now. AG1 helps to maintain energy, support gut health, and support immune health. AG1 is clinically shown to support gut health and fill in the common nutrient gaps, which especially you have when you're traveling. And again, all this stuff, the powders, they sent it all to me. I took it with me on the road, and I've been using it here. My daughter can even attest to that. AG1 is a daily health drink with a multivitamin, pre and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants. 1 scoop, again, 8 ounces of water, and you are set. More than 75 ingredients clinically shown to support gut health and fill those nutrient gaps. So check it out. It's drinkag1.com. Drinkag1.com/onthefloor. You get a free AG1 travel case with 7 free AG1 travel packs in your welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order while supplies last. Again, that's drinkag1.com/onthefloor. And I can't tell you how many people, when I said I was starting to do this promotion, like, already using that. So you got to try it yourself as well. Okay. There are lots of ways he could come to a decision here, right? He could decide simply based on home and family. Or again, he can decide on basketball. And I don't begrudge anybody from choosing home and family, but I think it's going to be about basketball this time.
So, and to be clear, when you say home and family, that could be Cleveland for a number of reasons, or it could be Golden State if we're leaning towards we don't want to
stay in California. Correct. No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's the only reason I can think of him going out there or staying out there. Is I know, again, his daughter is in travel volleyball. I know that there has been a desire to keep things intact as much as possible. And look, LA is not right next to San Francisco.
No.
But it's a short flight, okay? And it's a short flight, and you just hop it, and you can be back. You're there in 2 hours, right? And then you're back, in the evening, okay, on an off day. So that's not the end. It's not the same as flying to Miami, right? No matter how rich you are, there's only so fast you can fly. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can have all the private jets of the world, but it's still flying across.
At least for now.
at least for now, right? Unless they just transport
Let's hope
him.
that doesn't change, actually.
Well, yeah, that would be bad. But like, unless they just transport him, right? It's just all of a sudden his molecules end up in Miami. That would be fine. Yeah. They could just share them all across the states. But look, if he wants to be close to all that, I get that part. That's the one thing, and it's just a family decision. He wants to play one more year of basketball. He wants to play with Steph. It's going to be fun until it's not. Then you got Jimmy coming back to the mix potentially, and then you got the Draymond specter. It'd be a circus. But like, okay.
And a lot of people think they would need to maybe get AD to get that done.
Well, it seems like there is some sort of a push coming from that from a certain agent, right? Like to make that happen.
I don't know how you do that, but that's not for us to figure out.
Again, they don't make that. They look. Rich Paul can force a lot of things. I mean, somehow, allegedly, he forced Milwaukee to give Gary Trent Jr. $16 million a year over 4 years, which now the league is investigating, which was the most obvious thing.
They need to give Vlad Golden a 2-way contract.
I don't know, but I'll say this.
I'm kidding. No,
but did you see? Pat talked about Vlad today, didn't he?
He did. He said he's liked what he's seen from him.
I mean, that's
but he also said that they need
an athletic,
explosive
total opposite of what Vlad Golden is, right? Like
anyway, that's another show that we can get into.
Golden, but like explosive is not the word I would use. Like the feet are stuck in cement. But okay, look, giving a guy a 2-way contract, okay, because you like him, but also maybe to satisfy the agent. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm just saying it's, he happens to be represented by Clutch. Is not the same as giving a guy $60+ million after he had the worst season of his career, which is what Gary Trent Jr. just had, because you gave him a minimum the year before because Toronto was interested in him at more money. And it took the league
$15 million.
No, it did take $15 million, and it took the league less than a week to basically say, like, the social media reaction to that Gary Trent Jr. contract, which again, for those that understand, like, he's represented also by Clutch, by Rich Paul. Like, I don't know what Milwaukee's doing favors for him for. Like that one I don't really get. And they've done a couple too. There's a couple more on the roster there. Anyway, I don't know the whole story there, but the best thing that can happen to the Bucks is that they void the contract. Honestly. Yep. But they probably take.
They had to have agreed to it years ago, and that's why they're doing it now, because they made the agreement when they. It was so
obvious, though. Like, what if you're allegedly, if you're a horse to the Bucks, like why not wait until the minute LeBron sides with somebody and everybody's like the squirrel and everybody's looking the other direction? They could have done that, but anyway, okay. Clutch is a big factor in all of this, right? Maxey is clutch in Philly. I mean, Rich is basically playing everybody like a fiddle right now, okay, to a certain degree. He's getting favors done for him, it appears, in all these different places, okay? But Maxey is a player, obviously, that LeBron likes personally, too, right? And he's also an elite player. So I understand wanting to potentially play with him.
Am I weird for saying I don't love that fit?
I hate the fit. And so here's the other part of this. It's not home, okay? It's not even close to home like Golden State. This one makes the least sense to me, all right? Embiid cannot be counted on. No matter how much LeBron likes him, he can't be counted on. Okay. Jaylen Brown is going to be looking to prove himself. Jaylen wanted his own team. Like, that's part of what this was about, right? Like, the whole thing split up in Boston. He got offended by, the Celtics throwing him out there in trade talks. And obviously the Heat sort of blew up the Celtics situation by everything that happened there, right? And he wanted his own team. And now you're going to bring LeBron into the team to take attention when you've already got Embiid, you've already got Maxey, and you've got Edgecombe, who like needs a runway. Like, that kid's great. like I'm not saying there's not talent there, but like, you've got Embiid needs the ball, Maxey needs the ball, Edgecombe can play on or off, but sort of needs the ball to grow.
That's
the same
what
way
concerns me. It's that Maxey has to be the engine of that, and I just see LeBron as being the player who, with his acumen, to your degree, or to your point earlier, like, to that degree, he should probably be a little bit of kind of directing traffic, but that means Maxey doesn't have the ball. And so I just don't know how that fits. I'm sure they're great players to figure it out, but it's not as clean of a fit.
I mean, you'll have 5 guys on the floor at the same time who all need the ball. Like, Nick Nurse is going to have to stagger those rotations, something crazy. And it's not like they've got a bunch of off-the-ball shooters to bring off the bench. Grimes
Yeah.
isn't there anymore. Oubre's not Oubre is a great shooter, but Oubre's not there anymore. I don't understand, like, and here's the other part. Like again, Philadelphia fans don't like him. They don't like him. I covered, I can't tell you how many Sixers Heat games I covered. And some of the nastiest stuff that I heard said about LeBron was from that crowd. And it'll be said about him when he's playing for them, because that's what they do. So, like, what is the appeal other than Mike Gansey being a general manager, who I know he has a relationship with? So I just keep coming back to this. There's only two places that make any sense for any reason. And there's one place that he doesn't have to cover for James Harden. He doesn't have to defend at a high level. The ball will be in his hands all the time. And I'll just put it out there. I think he's too smart to F this up. I think I am banking on his basketball intelligence to deliver him back to the place where he will most flourish. And that's here. Well, not here, because I'm not in Miami right now. But you know what I'm talking about.
And
there's
also
a place else that makes sense, Greg. There really isn't.
And you know what conveniently it does, Ethan? It brings a punctuation to LeBron's career where he makes it right with every organization he's played with.
Yes. Well, the Lakers, I don't know.
He left on they thanked him.
He left on good terms. Like you say, he's never going to be loved there. But he's not, like you said, there's some who were happy that the circus in their degree was over and they can turn to Luka. But you're right. He's not despised there. Not like he was when he left Cleveland, and not like he was. And let's be honest here. There are some Heat fans who have flipped. And I know it's been 12 years and there's water under the bridge and all that, but there was a lot of nasty stuff at the time from Heat fans to LeBron.
Oh yeah.
Some of it was fomented a little bit by Pat's anger, or him not doing a thank you message. I think honestly, LeBron at the time, and again, I spent a lot of time around him the next year in Cleveland. I think he didn't know how to handle it, honestly, with Heat fans. I think there was and he tried with the Bleacher Report on uninterrupted video that nobody saw. But there were Heat fans that were not kind about him on the way out. And I'm noticing some of those same Heat fans have changed their tune at this point. And look, that's fine. I think we're at the stage now where you just have to sort of recognize greatness. His career has been greatness. It could have been greater if he had stayed in Miami. And I'll just close it here. Get one more in Miami. Okay. Get one more at age 42, being one of the 2 or 3 best players on a team. You'll have moments all the way deep into the playoffs.
Legacy.
It's a huge legacy play. It's a huge legacy play that's being completely overlooked by most. Okay. Except for some national media members that have come around a little bit. And I'll say this too. The ones who have the ties to Cleveland, Windhorst, McMenamin, etc., they're not really pushing Cleveland. They're not really pushing Cleveland. I'm gonna bet on his brain. I think he's too smart. I had too many conversations with him about basketball. He knows everything. He knows where everybody is on the floor. He knows everybody on every roster. We used to go to other cities, and this was like the first year, and he'd be sitting there like after shoot around, and like some like blogger from Sacramento, like we'd be in Sacramento, and some blogger would come up and ask him about like the 14th guy on another roster on a team that he hadn't played yet, and he would give you a scouting report until he started to get annoyed by it. He knows there is nobody, who knows more about this game inside and out. It's always been the most underrated part of him because he came in and he was already a grown man at 18 years old and whatever. But his basketball brain is basically unmatched. And that brain should not be taking him to a place where he's got to protect James Harden. He's got to pry the ball from 4 guys in Philadelphia, or he's got to prop up Steph at the end of his career.
Do you want to win for real, or do you want to win analytically? That is the question.
We'll close it there. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be soon, though. I do. I think it's going to be Miami. I think. But I'm not going far enough to say for sure. All right. Have a good night, everybody.